In the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about some very trashy women. So I think it's time for us to talk about the trashiest of men, Alfie. And side note on that title card, Alfie was actually one of the first films to put its cast and crew credits at the end of the film instead of the beginning. This is Alfie. Alfie has women, and not in a slick, I'm a player kind of way. More in a, girl, I told you what this is. What do you want from me kind of way. Now, at the beginning of our film, Alfie is kicking it with this married woman, City. And he knows he's not going to see City no more. Because City wants him to meet her husband. Which is when you know it's getting reckless. So then he goes to kick it with his shorty, Gilda. And he realizes Gilda is late. And she really wants to keep this baby. But you can probably tell Alfie is not going to be the best baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? But she decides to have her son, Malcolm Alfred. And surprisingly, Alfie's an okay dad. Even though he will tell women in the park that this is his sister's baby, he really does love that little boy. Or at least like him. Now, it's a bus driver named Humphrey who wants to make an honest woman out of Gilda really bad. And he said he's even happy to be a stepfather to her son. She goes and tells Alfie, the bus driver said he want to marry me. And Alfie's like, you should do what's best for you. Yeah, girl. So he ends up going to the doctor, and they find a shadow on his lung on the x-rays. So between that and not being able to see his son, he has like a little bit of a breakdown. And he ends up at a facility where he meets this dude named Harry. That's Harry. Oh, I should mention, Alfie breaks the fourth wall a lot. He talks directly to the audience quite a bit. Anyway, that's Harry, and that's Harry's wife, Lily. Now, Alfie ends up making out with one of the nurses, because you know how Alfie is, child. Harry thinks Alfie is a mess and gross, especially when Alfie suggests that his wife Lily might be cheating on him. But they still stay cool. Okay, so then Alfie gets out of the sanatorium. He ends up getting a job as a photographer and meets this American woman named Ruby. If Alfie was looking for somebody to match his freak, this is it. Ruby is older, but she wants it all the time. Now, Alfie is a photographer pretty much just long enough to meet Ruby. And then he decides to go back to being a personal driver. So he's driving a Rolls Royce all the time. Somebody else's Rolls Royce, but he's driving a Rolls Royce. So he goes to the sanatorium to see Harry, who is still there, and Lily's there. And Harry asks him, hey, like, I really don't want Lily riding back on the train, and you have a Rolls Royce. Can you just drive her home? So Lily doesn't really want to be driven home, and Alfie don't really want to drive her home, but he's like, all right, I'll do it. They go for tea in the boat ride, and he like, I didn't really realize how fine she is. She kind of cute. So they find a little spot with a blanket. Alfie, why? And then he acts like he doing Harry a favor. Alfie, why? But one day he's driving the Rolls Royce, and he sees this little shorty Annie hitchhiking on the side of the road. She's not a little orphan, but she might as well be. But before he can get to her, a truck pulls up and picks her up. So he follows the truck to like a diner. And once the person who's now with her, the truck driver, goes to the bathroom, he basically scoops her from the truck driver. And he's like, don't you want to ride in a Rolls Royce? So he gets her in the car. And she like, yeah, I don't really have nowhere to go. That's what's up. Now you do. You can live right in my house. Child, all this girl Annie do is cook, clean, and cry. And she be wanting to cook and clean and do laundry and all that stuff. He refers to her as it. He's like, it cooks, it cleans, it actually, it's kind of pretty. Quite mumsy sometimes, He uses the word mumsy a lot. He ends up going to a pub. His homeboys at the pub tell him he looking a little porky, a little homely from all them home-cooked meals. So he starts getting a little irritated. Then the truck driver that he scooped Annie from asks him hey, ain't you that dude who scooped my chick? They end up getting into a full brawl in the pub. Just a fight. Just everybody is fighting. And it's some lady that's singing in the front. She does a great job, but she's singing the whole time. And it's a fight the whole time. He ends up leaving with a black eye. Goes home. She I got some food ready for you. I got your clothes clean. What you need? He start going off on her like she doing too much and ends up throwing dinner against the wall. I love Annie because he only had to do that shat once and she got her bag, packed it, and left. He realized very quickly he ain't mean that and went running after her. Child, she was gone on a bus, out. Now, you remember this? In this, Lily got pregnant. And she can't keep that baby. Not Alfie's baby. So they call a guy to get that on out of there. But they have to do it illegally because they are past 28 weeks. So Alfie goes for a little walk, comes back, I guess an hour later, assuming like everything gonna be done. No, she still got to, pass it. And the doctor like, good luck, baby. He goes in to check on her, and she wails in pain because it is starting. Alfie slaps her in the face, puts his hand over her mouth, and tells her that his landlady might get upset if she keeps screaming like that, so she got to be cool. Every time I watch this movie, I got to pause it and walk away at that part. Every single time. She asks him to just go ahead and leave because him being there is not helpful. So he leaves, goes on a walk, and he ends up seeing his son with his new family, and they're christening a new daughter. So their family is like a full family at this point. He comes back home. It's done. And she tells him, don't go in that room, Alfie. He goes in, sees the fetus, and weeps. And when I tell you, I don't think a single person would feel bad for that man. Not a single solitary. With that woman literally laying in there on the couch, half dead, left alone during all of this. And you go in there and cry. Child, you better get your ass. So after all this stress, he decides he wants to settle down. So he goes to Ruby's house with flowers. Like, she got money. She freaky. Obviously, she gonna want me. Ruby told him go on and come back tomorrow because she got a little bit of a headache. When he's on his way out, he notices a radio and a guitar, which is a little bit out of place for Ruby. And he figures out maybe she might have a man in there. And she like, I ain't got no man in here, just go home. He opens the room door. She definitely has a man in there, for sure. And Alfie gonna ask her, what does he have that I don't? He younger than you, Alfie. It gets so bad, he end up running in the city. Remember City, the married woman from the beginning of the movie that he was trying to break up with anyway? And he like, hey, City, you want to link? And she like, yeah, I'll get back to you. So he finally has a come to Jesus moment where he realizes that he's complete trash and he has no peace of mind at this point. And then he ends up finding a stray dog like he's John Wick or something. And they go home together, just two strays. He does not deserve a dog. Somebody needs to put that man in a trash can.